What you're about to hear is not fiction. It happened in front of thousands, but almost no one saw what really mattered until now. If you're someone who still believes small moments can change everything, then stay. Hit like to support stories that need to be heard, and subscribe if you want to see what happens next. The sun was rising over the banks of the Ganges, casting a golden shimmer on the holy waters. It was the first day of Kumbh Mela 2025, and millions of pilgrims had already gathered. Priests chanted mantras, conch shells echoed through the air, and flower garlands floated down the river like prayers set adrift. Among the overwhelming noise and color, no one noticed the girl with the jasmine stall. Her name was Monalisa. She wasn't a celebrity. She wasn't famous. She was just one of thousands, sitting barefoot on a straw mat, weaving garlands for 20 rupees apiece. Her fingers moved quickly, automatically. This was her family's only source of income during the Mela. Monalisa had no idea she was being watched, not by a pilgrim, not by a reporter, but by a travel vlogger with 4 million followers on YouTube, a foreigner who had come to Kumbh to capture the real India. He had paused, taken out his camera, and hit record. He didn't even ask her name. He just whispered to the lens, "This girl, she looks like she belongs in a movie." The camera panned over Monalisa. Her deep eyes, her shy smile, her sun-warmed skin, wrapped in a faded green sari. She glanced up, confused, then back down to her flowers. The video was 27 seconds long. By the time she packed up her mat that evening, the clip had been posted. By the time she reached her family's tent, it had already hit 2 million views. That night, as the Kumbh Mela lights glittered like stars over the river, Monalisa sat with her parents near their tent, eating rice and lentils from a single metal plate. She had no idea what was happening on the other side of the world. No idea that her face had already been reposted on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, even Reddit. No idea that thousands of strangers were flooding comment sections with messages like, "Who is this girl? She's stunning. This feels like a scene from a Bollywood movie. Someone cast her in a film. Right now." The YouTuber who posted the video hadn't tagged her name because he never asked, so people gave her one. The Jasmine Girl. By midnight, the video had crossed 5 million views. By morning, it had passed 11 million. News outlets started calling it the most beautiful moment of Kumbh Mela 2025. Influencers stitched it into reaction videos. Artists began sketching her face. Memes circulated of Monalisa smiling, with the caption, "She has no idea she's famous." And she didn't. Until a group of college girls came to her stall the next morning, holding their phones and whispering excitedly, "It's her. Can we take a selfie? You're on Instagram. You've gone viral." Monalisa looked up, confused. "What? Viral?" One of the girls showed her the video, showed her the comments, the likes, the shares, the flood of admiration. Monalisa's eyes widened. She didn't smile. She just stared at the screen. "But I'm just selling flowers," she whispered. And for the first time, she felt something unfamiliar. Fear. By noon, Monalisa couldn't keep up with the garlands. Not because the flowers ran out, because she couldn't braid 3 strands without being interrupted. "Are you the Jasmine Girl? You're all over my feed. My cousin in Canada sent me your video. Can I get a picture? At first, she was polite, confused, but polite. Then the cameras got closer. Then the questions got louder. Some were kind, some were not. A man in a fancy kurta asked if she was auditioning for something. Another offered 1,000 rupees just to take a selfie holding her hand. She refused. He laughed. Come on, you're already famous. What's the difference? Monalisa flinched. By evening, a crowd had formed, not of customers, but of gawkers. Her garlands wilted in the sun, while people jostled each other to film her braiding flowers. Someone shouted, "She's just acting innocent for attention." Another posted a video with the caption, "Viral girl cashing in. Real or fake?" It went viral too. And in the middle of it all, Mona Lisa sat silently, trembling slightly, unsure where the line was between admiration and invasion. Back at the tent, her father was fuming. They're treating you like a thing, like you're not even real. Her mother held her hand, worry etched deep in her face. Maybe we should leave before it gets worse. But Mona Lisa, she just stared at the phone screen, at her own face, at the thousands of comments, at a life that was no longer hers to control. Fame had come, but it hadn't asked for permission. The next morning, she wasn't at the flower stall. The jasmine mat was gone. The garlands had wilted overnight in their basket. And the little spot by the river where she used to sit now had a circle of people standing around, waiting, whispering. Where is she? Did someone pay her to disappear? She probably couldn't handle the attention. None of them knew what had happened the night before. Mona Lisa's parents had quietly packed up their things after midnight. No drama, no goodbye. Just one decision made in a whisper and followed through like a ritual. She's not safe here anymore, her father had said. We came to the Mela for blessings, not for her to become a display. And Mona Lisa, tired, overwhelmed, still stunned, didn't argue. She sat in the back of a shared jeep, sari draped over her head to block the flashing phone screens even as they drove out of the city. Someone followed them on a scooter just to shout, "Come back, Jasmine Girl. We're not done with you yet." She flinched. Her mother squeezed her hand. By the time they reached their village, the sun had risen again. But this time, it didn't feel golden. It felt like a curtain had dropped, closing on a stage she never asked to be on. She walked into the house barefoot, dropped her bag, and collapsed on the cot without saying a word. Her phone buzzed. She didn't check it. Meanwhile, back in Prayagraj, a journalist stood by the now empty jasmine stall, reporting live. The girl who captured the soul of the Kumbh Mela is gone, and we may never know the full story. 3 days passed. Mona Lisa didn't speak much. Not to the neighbors who came knocking. Not to the local school teacher who brought sweets. Not even to her younger brother, who sat beside her each night, wordlessly handing her fresh jasmine strands to weave. Not to sell, just to keep her hands moving. But someone had been watching from a distance. A woman with a camera and a press badge. She waited respectfully near the village entrance, sitting under a banyan tree with a water flask and a notepad. On the 4th day, She finally stepped forward. "Mona Lisa," she said gently, "I'm not here for a scoop. I'm here to ask how it felt, and I'll leave if you don't want to speak." Mona Lisa didn't answer right away. Then, slowly, she nodded. They sat together under the tree. No crowds, no noise, just breeze, birds, and truth. Mona Lisa spoke quietly about how her parents came to Kumbh for blessings, not cameras. How the first time someone asked for a selfie, she thought it was a mistake. How people began treating her like a statue, not a person. "They didn't see me," she said softly. "They saw a moment they could use." The journalist didn't interrupt. She just listened. Then she asked, "What would you want people to know now that it's all gone?" Mona Lisa thought for a long time. "I never asked to go viral. I only wanted to help my family. I didn't need followers. I needed peace." The next day, the interview went live. No flashy title. No clickbait. Just a still photo of Mona Lisa, sitting beneath the tree, staring into the distance. Title: "The Jasmine Girl Speaks, and you need to hear what she says." It spread like fire. But this time, the comments were different. "We owe her an apology. This is what happens when we make people into content. She deserves more than fame. She deserves respect." The sun had begun to set on the edge of the village. Orange and gold melted into the sky. Mona Lisa sat on the same wooden stool outside her home, weaving one last garland, not to sell, not for a camera, but for herself. Across the dirt path, the journalist returned. She didn't carry a camera this time. Instead, she brought a letter. "This arrived at our office," she said, handing it over. Mona Lisa opened it slowly. Inside was a card from a National Arts Foundation offering a full scholarship to study visual storytelling and traditional flower design in Delhi. Tuition, accommodation, and travel included. Attached was a handwritten note from the program director. "You reminded the world that beauty doesn't need a spotlight to exist. It just needs someone willing to look deeper." Mona Lisa didn't cry. She smiled, the first real smile since the video. That night, her father lit a small diya and placed it beside the jasmine mat. "If this is your path," he said, "walk it proudly. Just never let them take your peace again." 2 months later, a new exhibition opened in Delhi. The centerpiece, a series of garlands arranged like a timeline, each one paired with a photograph of Mona Lisa, not as the Jasmine Girl, but as herself. Real, grounded, free. The final piece was a simple message woven into white petals. "I was never trying to be seen. I was trying to be heard." Visitors stood in silence. Some cried. Some took photos. But most just understood. And somewhere in the back of the gallery, Mona Lisa watched quietly, hands folded, as her story, finally hers again, bloomed on its own terms. She never asked for fame. She never needed it. But she taught the world something far more powerful. Sometimes, the most beautiful thing is choosing to disappear until you're ready to return.